My name is Fahim Kawsar. I am the Research Director for Pervasive Systems in Nokia Bell Labs in Cambridge, UK. I also have a position in TUDelft as a Design United Professor, where I spend some time to discuss about connected data products and the design and development of those products in the industry. And at Bell Labs, my research mainly looks at building a behavioral platform to understand human behavior better in a multisensory environment. So what it means really that I build systems and algorithms with multisensory devices on human body inside or nearby to build an understanding of how people interact with other people's things and places, and then I use this understanding to build new services, human-centered services, to improve their life at different scale in different application domain, including lifestyle, health, digital health, and quantified built environment and smart cities and so on. So my message today really was that we are now in a world where we are wearing sensory devices on our body, maybe in the form of a timepiece, maybe in the form of a glass, maybe in the form of jewelries. These are remarkably powerful devices and their capabilities are underutilized. We need to think beyond counting steps. And some of the aspects I mentioned today about concentration, about social interactions, about fear, sleep, I think we need to look into those topics. As an educator, as a scientist, as a researcher, so my proposition was really that, the takeaway message was really that it's not about only building technology, but building technology with a meaningful purpose, and that solves a human need. And I think IoT at the consumer space need that a transformation now. I call it 360-degree well-being, because today when you talk about well-being, you will see that mostly people are talking about physical aspect of our life, like your exercise-related activities, but I think well-being is a lot more than that. Your mental well-being, how do you feel? How do we learn when and how do you feel when you learn, right? I mean, there are many subjective aspects of our mental health which has a profound impact of our happiness, and your social well-being, which is really about, we're a social human being. We need to interact with people. If you're isolated, you will be depressed and you will die alone. I mean, nobody wants to do that. So I think supporting people to be more social and live a more collective life has a profound value to your happiness. And to me, technology can actually help people to achieve those goals, or at least can help them in attempting to achieve those goals, right? I mean, so yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That there is this global consensus on this very ambitious subjective goals, but the manifestation of those goals in everybody's life or in our everyday life is not very much well, I would say, existing today. So we need to work towards that. Multidisciplinary is the key for any remarkable solution to human needs, because human is a complex machine and it needs perspective from many different points, and so multidisciplinary aspect of it is very key to building successful human products or human-centric products. But building a multidisciplinary team that works very well to solve a complex problem is as complex as the problem itself. Now, I can tell you from my personal experience, because I worked, in my team I have computer scientists, I have electrical engineers, I have mathematicians. In the past I also had social scientists. And it's not easy, because people are trained in a certain way to think, and often there is a conflict in the objectives, or in a mathematical term, the objective functions one is trying to optimize. I think what is important is to have a common goal where everybody is registered into, and then an openness that you are okay to go beyond your comfort zone. So computer scientist needs to be more, I would say, open to views coming from, let's say, design researchers or social scientists who are more subjective, and vice versa, that more subjective researchers need to be more mindful to the technical or system level challenges that, let's say, system people, computer science or maybe electrical engineering people are interested in. But openness and a common objective is very important for multidisciplinary teams to work. Openness, I think, is the key, and to go beyond your comfort zone. Open communication, and I think it's a lot to do with people's personality development, and that's why IoT can also help. That is what my point was, that how I can be good in social interactions. I can speak my mind without, let's say, hurting others' emotion or even offending someone. And there is a skill and training needed for that. It doesn't matter how smart you are, your social smartness may not reflect on your, let's say, your educational training. So I think the way to communicate a stronger message, or a let's say not so nice message, has also a training part embedded in it. So I think open communication is the key, that people build up trust and respect to each other while solving a hard problem that requires multiple perspectives. I think, again, this is governed by my personal experience of living in different countries and working with people from different other countries, often from a remote location. Human touch points can be both physical or digital, and it will work all right. But if you want a very successful collaboration, I think the very first touch point needs to be physical. There is a profound value in face-to-face interactions, because we build a relationship where there are elements embedded in it that cannot be achieved over any other medium. And this could be respect, trust, empathy of different scale. But what I have observed over the years and experienced, that if I have a physical touch point, if I have a physical face-to-face interactions, even for a very short time, but a meaningful one, that has a long-lasting impact in a relationship that may be remote only from that point on. So what I'm saying is that if the initiation or the beginning of a relationship or of a collaboration is face-to-face interactions, often there are chances that may turn into a good, successful collaboration. That said, one problem I see, that when we have, let's say you talked about European project with multiple partners from many different countries, often this is the first time these people are working together, coming from different backgrounds in a completely different way, and it is often expected that they will just sit in an opening meeting for 2 days in a remote place under, behind a door for 8 hours, and then we'll have a lunch or dinner together and they will work together. I think that's a very wrong assumption and is a recipe for failure. if you really want to work together, first of all, you need a small team. The size of the team is very important. And then you need to give these teams enough time to interact physically so that they know each other, they build up the trust. If it takes 7 days, 2 weeks, doesn't matter. Co-locate them, and once that trust has been developed, or you actually given the chance to build up the trust, I think it's fine to take it remote. Otherwise, it's very difficult. That is my own experience. We are becoming more global and global in our work network, so it's important to actually accommodate remote communications. I know a lot of work is going on in the AR VR community where people are trying to create immersive experiences for remote work and so on. I'm not sure. I think it's just like a relationship, right? I mean, I think a friendship of whatever form it is may not have a physical manifestation in some form, right? You don't have to meet somebody physical world to actually work together. But I think translating the value or the importance of that physical meeting, face-to-face interactions into a complete digital form is still unknown to us. But maybe over the course of next few years, through research, we'll find out maybe there are touch points, or maybe there are aspects of our life that can be triggered, or that can be, I would say, excited, or that can be illuminated if certain way of communication is done, right? But today, when you look into all these video communication technologies, I think they work only well and in a meaningful way when there is a personal relationship being developed against the person. So if this was first time you're meeting me over the video camera, I think there will be concerns and a little bit of constraints, a little bit of hesitations, and maybe some bit of insecure nervousness. I think those aspects can be taken away if I trust you. I have full confidence on what to say. I respect your views, and I know that you're not going to do anything wrong and harm to me in any form. That, I think, that makes the relationship much more meaningful, both in and out of the work context. I would personally say that, spending time, even if it's for 2 or 3 days, where work is secondary, is important. So if you have a 10 weeks, you can start the 10 weeks exercise with a 3 days of an outing exercise where people are supposed to do things that they are excel at or good at, that may or may not have any relationship with the work itself. Of course, it has implication to like funding and everything else. But I think, as I said, that it's very difficult to expect that people coming from very different background, very different world, very different culture and family values suddenly will be very successful together. I mean, nobody can claim that happen. It might happen, but I think that's a very rare case. So, but if we give us a chance that we try to create a friendship or a respect-based relationship among a group of people, the chances are high that they will help each other in achieving the goal that they've been given. I mean, that would be my approach if I had the enough funding and the opportunities to run a 10 weeks drill like that.